This is Blackout.
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and huge shout out to Brad, aka xlimeTigerx, on YouTube and Twitter. He's a PC data miner who recently discovered some very interesting leaks in regards to Blackout Battle Royale from the Black Ops 4 multiplayer beta. It of course released on PC just over a week ago, and before I jump into the leaks, please keep in mind Activision's lawyer actually DMCA'd some tweets made by Brad, which essentially confirms that his information is indeed credible, and some of the leaks that we are going to talk about here today may in fact be coming to light during the Blackout beta or even the official launch of Blackout in October. He's also gotten banned from Reddit a couple of times, and Brad, if you're watching this video, I feel you. I've gotten banned from Reddit so many times for simply correcting somebody's misinformation or providing my opinion on a topic that was pretty self-explanatory, you name it. So jumping right into the leaks, as you guys may know, just a couple of weeks ago I made a video talking about how TheGamingRevolution was essentially playing around with 50 players in the current build of Blackout, but we're aiming to hit 64 players. Well, apparently, as of a couple of days ago, within the PC files of the Black Ops 4 beta, it was discovered that TheGamingRevolution is currently messing around with 100 players for Blackout Battle Royale, so we could assume that right now they're probably close to 100, but 100 will be the goal by the time Blackout officially comes out. So this doesn't confirm that we'll have 100 players in Blackout by the time the beta rolls around, but we could even assume that by the time the beta comes out, we'll maybe be able to play with, let's say, 64 to 75 players. Then when Blackout officially comes out in October, then we'll be able to have that 100 player count. But as I've said before, without going into too much detail, if the game mode, or the map I should say, fits well and feels balanced with, let's say, 75 players, then there's no need for them to hit 100 just to say they're on par with what Fortnite or PUBG or even Battlefield is doing. There's no need for it. If it works, then it works. No need to compete and assume that a $60 game is going to beat a free game. I'm not a fan of Fortnite at all, but the fact that Fortnite is free and Blackout isn't just means you'll always have that little player base of kids who are playing Fortnite, no matter if it's 1 or 2 years down the line. So if they end up hitting 100 players, then that's great, but if it feels buggy and rushed, then there's no point. They might as well move that down a little bit to maybe 75 or even 64 players, as we originally talked about a couple of weeks ago. Now, another leak that was found was that at the moment, Blackout can't hit 60 frames a second, but it is believed, based on a couple of files that came out, that high-end PCs, the PS4 Pro and apparently the Xbox One X, will be able to handle that at launch. Definitely not during the beta. So if the game is balanced and runs smoothly with other settings other than 60 frames a second or a 100 player count, then let it be. We cannot keep assuming or expecting Call of Duty to do some drastic things that other games might be doing, because at the end of the day, it's being published by Activision, and guess what? It's Call of Duty. So if it works, it works. If they hit 50 frames a second, then as a PS4 Pro owner, I'll be happy with that. I'm not going to be nitpicky. I do understand for high-end PC owners, you'd want 60 frames a second and higher, but guess what? At the end of the day, as I've said, it's Call of Duty. Now, Brad was also able to find the way that we spawn in here in Blackout Battle Royale. Now, I'll put some footage on screen of the original Blackout teaser that we got from the multiplayer beta trailer, and in the teaser, we could see some skydiving. So, as Brad found, we are going to be parachuting in on this giant map. So maybe the skydiving that we see here in the Blackout teaser is the type of parachuting that is being referenced here in the code. I just hope it's balanced enough, and I hope it works out so you don't fall through the map or you don't fall to your death by mistake. Hopefully it's balanced by the time the Blackout beta rolls around. But next up, we have a huge list of vehicles that are currently functioning well in the current build of Blackout. I'm going to be putting footage on screen of the various kill streaks and score streaks in comparison to the leaked vehicles that are currently in Blackout. So first off, we have the AC-130. So instead of putting the AC-130 from Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3, I said, you know what? The gunship score streak from Black Ops 4 multiplayer is nearly identical, if not exactly the same as the AC-130. So here's some footage on screen of the gunship from the Black Ops 4 multiplayer beta. What I will say is it operates in almost the exact same fashion with 3D different modes, but wasn't too effective in Black Ops 4 simply because of the way the maps are laid out. So next we have the Hellstorm dropship. Not exactly sure what it's referring to, but what I get a picture of is the exact ship that actually drops the Hellstorm missiles in on the map. All you can really do is navigate where it goes or whether or not it turns into a cluster of missiles. And even in theater mode here on Black Ops 3, you can't see the dropship that launches these missiles, but what we could assume, in short, is that within Blackout, you'll be able to call in the Hellstorm score streak. Now, next up, we have a number of helicopters, 3 to be exact. The Chinook, the Chopper, and the Huey. So what we could assume is that one of these choppers has already been seen within the Blackout teaser, as you guys can see on screen. And another one of these choppers might be similar to the Chopper Gunner kill streak that we have within Black Ops 1 multiplayer. Definitely a very fun streak to use. You can take out nearly the entire team multiple times on an open map if you are pretty experienced with this Chopper Gunner. Now, in terms of the Huey, this sounds very similar to a chopper that I've seen in movies, so I'll put images on screen for those of you who are pretty knowledgeable with actual military vehicles in real life, of course, so hopefully you guys get an idea as to what that can be. Next up, we have the hover car. So this is either the HCXD from Black Ops 3 multiplayer, or it's something different entirely, something futuristic, something unexpected, something that sounds fun, maybe something that you can tag along with when someone else is driving it. You know, not exactly sure what it could be, but if anything, I would assume it's similar to the golf cart from Fortnite, where either you can drive it or your friend can drive it, and you guys can tag along with each other, pick up a little squad and play quads with. Who knows what this could be, but definitely sounds like some Back to the Future type of stuff. Next up, we have what is called the Hunter. Not exactly sure what that is, but kind of sounds like the Hunter Killer drone from Black Ops 2, so could easily be something like the Dart from Black Ops 3 as well. Not sure what that is, but could get a pretty decent idea as to what it could be. Now, we next up have 2 different jets. First is the A-10 Warhog Thunderbolt, a twin jet with controllable miniguns and an explosive bomb drop ability. So we all know what the Warhog is from Black Ops 2. I did put footage on screen of just about every kill streak so far, but when it comes to the Warhog, I wasn't a high enough rank to actually equip this score streak in Black Ops 2. I recently prestiged just for fun, and of course, when I need some footage of the Warhog, I don't have it unlocked, and I didn't have the time to go and rank up about 25 levels to get this. So went in theater mode real quick and got some footage of me using the Warhog against bots. You can get an idea as to what it is. Very powerful. Cannot even imagine how much damage it'll do to a whole bunch of players on that big ass open map like the Blackout one. We also have another jet, which is simply called the Bomber. So we could assume this is something like the Rolling Thunder kill streak, or score streak, I should say. It's been present in multiple Black Ops games, so pretty sure that'll be very useful on an open map like Nuketown as well. We next up have an AI robot. So let's just say a hybrid between the Cerberus, Mantis, and AGR. We all know the Cerberus is a pretty powerful score streak from Black Ops 3 multiplayer. Can really do some damage on those objective game modes, but the Mantis in Black Ops 4 was a little too slow, but really did a lot of damage when going up against a whole group of people, and had a very powerful missile on as well. But once again, can't expect too much, but the AGR from Black Ops 2 is also a pretty interesting score streak. So since Black Ops 4 is a prequel to Black Ops 3, we could assume and even expect score streaks and AI robots similar to the AGR, and maybe close to the Cerberus as well. Next up, we have what is called the Quad. So Brad did say that this is easy transportation for up to 2 people to traverse land. No armor was found for the vehicle though, so we could expect this to be just a very, very simple vehicle to get around with no weapons attached. So could be something useful just to get to a certain part of the map if you guys know a specific strategy when playing Blackout. Once again, similar to the golf cart from Fortnite. Nothing too crazy, very simple. Now, next up we have the RCXD and the Recon. So we all know what the RCXD is. We could assume a remaster of the original RCXD from Black Ops 1 or even Black Ops 2. And the Recon is supposed to be a quieter version of the RCXD, except it's only used for spotting out enemies and giving away their positions to your team, or if you're just playing solo, you'll have the positions of the enemy players. So I really expected this to be in there. You know, being able to use something to get a nice view of where the enemies are at, or see if somebody is behind the wall. Something very useful for Battle Royale that we kind of already have in other versions of Battle Royale like PUBG and such. So hopefully this ends up being pretty fun. Next up we have a very simple truck. Once again, just to traverse the land, and again, think of the golf cart from Fortnite. Now next up we have a number of returning streaks from previous Black Ops games. The first one being the dart. So this could easily be the hunter killer drone from Black Ops 2, or even a direct copy and paste of the dart we already have in Black Ops 3. We then have the wraps, which I'm really happy about, because when it comes to the gunship, aka the AC-130, it didn't work out, as I said, simply because you didn't have that streak on the ground to wipe enemies out of those indoor areas, allowing for those aerial streaks to do their job. So in Black Ops 3, if you pair the wraps with the Wraith, it works perfectly, because you have the wraps to sweep enemies out of indoor areas, allowing the Wraith to take the enemies down as they spawn outside, or hopefully they spawn outside, but you guys get my point. So I was hoping for the dogs to return here in Blackout, but maybe, just maybe one day we'll see the return of them, because they were a lot of fun to use in Black Ops 1 and even Black Ops 2, but we all know the wraps definitely do the trick and obviously explode when they get close to the enemy. Now, we also have the Wasp Trap, so we could assume this is similar to the Hive from Black Ops 3 multiplayer, a pretty effective specialist ability, and something similar to the Torque Bow that we already have within Black Ops 4 multiplayer, which is also just as effective when used correctly. So obviously something simple to enhance your Battle Royale experience. Now, coming towards the end of this list here, we have the basic UAV. This is very obvious. I knew we were going to be getting a UAV for Blackout, just to allow for you to spot out your enemies when you're in a convoluted part of the map. And last but definitely not least, we have the Wraith. So what Brad was suggesting is whether or not the cloak ability for the Wraith will be part of this vehicle. So as we all know, in Black Ops 3, when you call in a Wraith and someone tries to shoot it down, this other little drone goes by the Wraith and cloaks the Wraith itself, allowing you to essentially miss where the Wraith is going. So in terms of how that cloak system will work in Black Ops 4 is currently unknown, but I thought that was a great point that Brad brought up in his own video that he uploaded on his channel. So I also wanted to include some other leaks that I just found a couple of minutes ago about Blackout, thanks to the YouTuber the Wew Lads, who posted this little list over on Reddit. So first off, Cracked and Array from Black Ops 1 have been remastered into Blackout areas, and this is great news because I love every map from Black Ops 1 multiplayer, and all those maps honestly deserve a remaster. They were great. Now, there are doors, just like in PUBG and Fortnite, which can be opened and closed. That's not surprising. Scavengeables, like in the heist mode for multiplayer, will return in Blackout. While it's aimed to have zombies present in some areas, such as Verrucht, not sure what other zombie areas are returning, this may not make it into the Blackout beta. So, I talked about this before, the fact that we saw Verrucht in that little Blackout teaser a couple of weeks ago just means we may fly into that part of the map, or simply walk over there, and you'll be able to kill some AI zombies right before you continue with killing some actual players in on that match. Some people have data mined, like Brad, that there are 100 players in Blackout. These are simply slots they use for testing, but doesn't necessarily mean the mode supports it. So that's a huge point, building off of the leak we already talked about earlier from Brad. And last but not least, you do in fact parachute into the map after gliding in on a wingsuit. That is about it for all the Blackout leaks we have so far, as found by Brad, aka the xlimeTigerx, within the Black Ops 4 multiplayer beta PC files. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out Brad's channel down below in the description. Follow him on Twitter and let me know what you guys think about these leaks in the comments section. But I hope you guys found the footage in the background helpful to distinguish exactly what some of these vehicles may be. Once again, a lot of this content is subject to change by the time the beta rolls around. This has been dkdynamite. Stay tuned in for the latest information in regards to Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Peace out, everyone.
Switching rally point. Destroy the objectives.